When you hear the name Steve Jobs, you pretty much will likely immediately think of, yeah, the inventor of the Mac and the creator of the iPhone, the iTunes, the iPod, and iMac, and any other great inventions of the 20th century and beyond. But beyond that, what more is there to Steve Jobs? What do you really know? If you've never read a book about him, or a biography, or even an autobiography, really all we know is that he's a bajillion billionaire who created some of the greatest innovations in technology, and he, even after his passing, he's proliferated the globe. I mean, I'm recording this review on an iPhone, so there you have it. The irony is inescapable. So yeah, I mean, what do we really know about Steve Jobs? Aaron Sorkin, screenwriter, and director Danny Boyle have crafted a well-made, engaging, fast, furious, and powerful at times look into the mind, life, and genius that is Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, played by fantastically, who will likely get an Oscar nomination, by Michael Fassbender, is joined by Seth Rogen, who plays Steve Wozniak, Kate Winslet, who plays Joanna Hoffman, is Steve Jobs' assistant. Jeff Daniels plays John Scully, who was, as we learned, was like a CEO at Pepsi, and basically Sorkin and Boyle don't take the traditional biopic approach that one would expect. Like, okay, this is his youth, and then okay, we'll go forward a little bit, and then we'll talk about this, and we'll go forward a little more, and then we'll from point A to point B of where the story ends. Now, the film is based on the book by Walter Isaacson. I have not read the book, so I don't know how close it is to the actual presentation of itself. But the way they present the film is kind of reminiscent of Spielberg's Lincoln, where they don't give a full biopic of Abraham Lincoln's life, but actually just drop into a specific moment in time and tell the story about that time. Now, their approach in this film is that they drop in on 3 key moments in Steve Jobs' life where he's introducing new product and what is going on in his life, with the people in his life, with him, and with the business, and with technology at that very given moment. And you would think that for a movie that's all it's about, it's almost like a commercial. It's just like, okay, this is 1984, here we are with this. 1988, here we are with this. And but everything, that the way the film is laid out and the way it's performed and written and directed, it is a fascinating insight into Steve Jobs. Whether or not this is 100% accurate can only be clarified and verified by people who lived it. So, but from what we're being presented by Boyle and Sorkin is a really engaging look into not just the genius of the man, but also his business acumen, his how he deals with family, how he relates to other people, and how he makes his decisions, and there is like a lot of great drama and potent stuff. I mean, probably the most significant thing that comes out of each segment within the film, is that there's a very deep and engaging and enthralling argument or debate that goes on between characters, and some that stand, probably the one that really stands out the most to me, well, 2 actually, are between Fassbender and Rogen, and Fassbender and Daniels, and they are really, the arguments is like, even they're rapid fire. I mean, they're yelling at each other, but thanks to Sorkin's writing, the words ring true. Yeah, you hear them loud and clear. You totally understand where each side is coming from, and you like, in various moments you like thinking it's like, yeah, Jobs was such a dick at that time, but I really can't argue against him for it. Maybe the way he handled it wasn't the best way, but his logic makes sense. But then you're sympathetic to someone like a Wozniak or a Scully, and you feel bad for them. But and they approached it a logical way, and it's just a clashing of ideologies and business approaches, and all of this comes out in the film, and it truly boils down to is about Steve Jobs, the businessman and family man. I have not seen the Jobs film starring Ashton Kutcher, only because I heard it wasn't as great as it looked, so I kind of like skipped over it. So I'm guessing that was more the traditional biopic route. But here, it's just wall-to-wall great acting from the main leads of Fassbender, Kate Winslet, Seth Rogen, Jeff Daniels. But these guys are all bouncing off of each other and just like spewing rapid-fire dialogue in heated moments. It's just so engaging. It's just like kind of like a fantastic, some of the best dialogue-driven episodes of West Wing. So stuff like that. I mean, they're like great lines. Like you see it in the trailer, like musicians play the instruments. And I play the orchestra, referring to Jobs as the conductor, stuff like that. And there are other great lines and funny insults. But as I mentioned, yeah, there are funny insults, and also the movie is funny at times, but still overall it is a very engaging, fascinating drama about the genius of one man and how he wants to reach his audience. And how he reached his audience. And looking back, just using the film as a reference point, you can just see how crazy it was and how just a stroke of genius just changed the world forever, because we went from just little IBM Windows to little iPhones. Now we're, iPhone 6, 6S, and yeah, it's just technology is just amazing, and it's just how Jobs got it through his head, and how he was able to get it done and deal with the people that he worked with and cared about, loved, or considered friends, and how they related to him. So Steve Jobs is a fascinating drama, a really good film. Definitely worth seeing, definitely worth checking out in the theater. I would give Steve Jobs about an 8.5 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. It features 4 fantastic performances. Yeah, that includes Seth Rogen. I mean, go figure. Like, look at these other heavyweights, but Seth Rogen holds his own as well. A crackerjack, really sharp screenplay by Aaron Sorkin, and great direction by Danny Boyle. It has some flourishes of what he did in Slumdog, but it doesn't have that real pop that Slumdog had, which is totally 2 different films, which was unfair to compare. But it's more about the interaction of the people that really drives and propels this film. It provides the fireworks that it needs. So, Steve Jobs, highly recommended. So if you like my review, please hit the like button below. Have you seen Steve Jobs? Do you know of Jobs? What do you know about Jobs? How do you like your iPhone? Please share in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so you can stay on top of the reviews as they come in. So, until next time, just think of how archaic things would be if Steve Jobs wasn't around. Mind-boggling.